I'm creating this video today to hopefully help you guys when you're out at the thrift shops or the antique shops to hopefully look at these lamps on the fly and be able to decide, should I buy it or should I leave it? My family calls it my superpower. It's my ability to see value in things that other people might overlook. Sometimes I go picking with my boyfriend, sometimes it's my best friend Sue, and sometimes it's my kids. But at the end of the day, it's all about having fun and hopefully just maybe making a profit. Well, the title of Crazy Lamp Lady comes with a lot of responsibility. A responsibility to my viewers because I'm constantly getting messages. Is this lamp valuable? Is this lamp valuable? Can you tell me the value of this lamp? That I just knocked off the table. I get a lot of these messages, and even though I've created a Facebook group called Old Things Identification, and I try to direct my viewers to posting pictures of their lamps in that group, I'm still receiving messages. So I'm creating this video today to hopefully help you guys when you're out at the thrift shops or the antique shops to hopefully look at these lamps on the fly and be able to decide, should I buy it or should I leave it? So hopefully I'll be able to give you the tools to do that. Hopefully, we'll see. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my process when I'm out at these shops, and you guys have seen my videos. There's been a couple times where I've taken you through my process, which isn't really taking you through my process because it's so fast in my head that basically I'm just going through and I'm saying 80s, 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 modern, modern, 80s, 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 no good, no good, no good. $30, not worth the shipping hassle. And that's basically my process. So let's walk through it step by step, and here we go. So the lamps I have out here on the table are just lamps that I had laying around the house that I just dragged up here for kind of dramatic effect and for my thumbnail, so I could be like, see, that's my thumbnail right there. That's me smiling with my lamps. Okay. So when I'm out at the thrift shops and I come across a big shelf full of lamps, what I'm looking at is, first of all, I'm looking at the lines. That's the first thing I'm looking at. Right now, a really hot seller is mid-century modern. Okay, when you go to Target, you know, Target, if you go to Target, a lot of people are like, I don't go to Target. But if you go to Target and you walk down the lamp section, even if you go to Lowe's or Home Depot, and you walk down the lamp section, you will see mid-century modern reproduction lamps because mid-century modern is so hot right now. So when you're out at the thrift stores, you want to be looking for mid-century modern lamps, but you don't want to be looking for the reproductions. You want to be looking for like the real mid-century modern lamps, and that's because that style is so hot that even the big retailers, the big Target chains, are picking up on that, and they're trying to reproduce them and sell them because they know there's money to be made there. So you need to realize that there's money to be made there, and that's what you need to be looking for. That's like one of the easiest lamp styles to go after. So when you're at the shops, the closest example that I have to mid-century modern here on the table is this Laurel tulip lamp that I picked up a while back. Look at the lines. Look at the shape of it. I mean, it's just a simple lines. So I'm walking, it's really heavy. So when I'm at the thrift store and I'm walking down, you know, the shelf, and I'm looking at all these different lamps. I mean, look at this one. This one is worth money, granted, but I'm looking for mid-century modern lamps. We're just going with that for right now. So I'm looking at this lamp. This lamp is real fussy. Okay, so I'm gonna keep looking. You know, this lamp is just, it's not mid-century modern. This one is real kitschy, not mid-century modern. So I'm looking at the lines. These ones are too small. You know, they have flowers on them. They're not mid-century modern. Mid-century modern is simplistic and smooth lines. A lot of the time they're wood. They have the teak. They have the ceramic, the white ceramic. Mid-century modern. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? So that's one of the styles I'm really looking for. So after I'm looking at the lines, okay, like I said, you can go to Target and you can find mid-century modern reproductions. So the next thing I'm looking at is the cords. Granted, lamps can be rewired, so that's not always like the lot, you know, you can't always go by the cords, but the next thing I look at is the cords. So for example, this lamp has a vintage cord. this Laurel lamp. I'm just making sure that I have it in the video. This has a vintage cord. So I looked at this and I thought, you know what, that's in really good shape. That could be a modern lamp, but look at the cord. It's vintage. So this is a vintage lamp because you can't, you can't put a vintage cord on a modern lamp. I mean, you could, but that would be weird. You wouldn't do that. So I knew that that was vintage. So that's one of the things I look at. So I go from looking at the style of the lamp, and then I go to looking at the cord. One of the other things I look at is the patina. Okay, so a lot of the older lamps, especially brass lamps, for instance, this one right here. This one is probably Hollywood Regency, I would say. It's very glitzy and glamorous. It's got crystals on it. I mean, it's just like, look at me, I'm beautiful, you know? It's got this French etched shade. It's fabulous. I love this lamp. But it screams, look at me. And that's Hollywood Regency style. Now it's got brass, and the brass has oxidation on it. So this is a sign of age. So that's another thing I'm looking at when I'm looking at these lamps. I'm looking for signs of age because, again, the cord could be brand new. And actually, I don't know if this one, no, this one hasn't been rewired, but the cord could be brand new, you know, but I mean, granted, that's an old shade, I know from looking, but you might not. So you're looking at the cord, you're looking at the oxidation on it. Those are things that you need to be looking at, okay? Hollywood Regency right now, I see a lot of you picking up Hollywood Regency lamps. Look at all the fragile stuff on this lamp, okay? First of all, we've got this French shade that's worth quite a bit of money. It's got an etched design on it. It's got all of this crimping on the top. This is super fragile, okay? Super duper fragile. And then we've got each individual crystal that would need to be wrapped in bubble wrap. Very fragile, okay? This would need to go in a box. See this marble base down here? It's really heavy marble base. Would need to go in a box with this really light, beautiful French shade. Do you know how hard that's gonna be to ship? You know what a pain in the butt that's gonna be? These are things you have to factor in when you're buying these lamps, when you're looking at these lamps. Are you gonna wanna ship that? I mean, this is another thing that I factor in when I'm looking at these lamps. I mean, this Laurel lamp, shove it in a box. You know, put some paper in there, it's good. It's gonna clunk around. No, I'm just joking. I probably would pack it really good. But what I'm saying is, that's another thing that I'm looking at when I'm looking at these lamps is, okay, what's gonna go into shipping this? How much am I gonna have into the shipping supplies when I'm shipping this lamp? I mean, this is gonna be a pain in the butt to ship. You know, if I'm at an antique shop and I'm seeing this and they want $75 for it, I'm like, you know, is it really gonna be worth it to me to have to ship that? So that's one thing you're gonna wanna have to think about is it worth it to ship it? Because lamps are a pain to ship, especially Hollywood Regency lamps, because they're big and they're gaudy and there's a lot of fragile parts to them because they're usually glass. And the thing is that Hollywood Regency doesn't sell very well. It doesn't sell very well, so you're not going to be getting a lot of money for it. So keep that in mind. I'm saying this because I'm seeing a lot of people buying Hollywood Regency. A lot of people. So many people. Just keep in mind. I mean, most of the Hollywood Regency lamps that I'm seeing people buy are worth probably $45 to $65. I mean, that's great if you're only paying like, you know, 10 bucks for them, but then all the hassle of shipping them. You have to get a big box, you have to get all the stuffing for the box, you have to wrap them in bubble wrap, you have to, you know, and then you risk having them break, so you have to purchase insurance for them. And for me, I'm used to it. I do it all the time. But for somebody just getting into reselling, it's scary. And it's gonna be, I just don't want you guys to get scared off by this. That's basically what I'm saying, okay? So these are the things that I'm looking at when I'm going out and I'm looking at lamps. But another, you know, don't be afraid to use this. I mean, I've gotten to the point where I don't need to use this, but there's no reason, don't be embarrassed to pull your phone out and get on the eBay app and say, okay, ceramic lamp, green, you know, look it up and see, you know, how much is it worth? don't be afraid to do that, okay? It's not a thing. Just look it up and see, and then decide whether it's worth it to you to ship that lamp, okay? Let's talk about, you know, I've seen a lot of people buying Aladdin lamps, and so I saw these downstairs and I'm like, I'm gonna grab those and talk about them. These are Lily of the Valley Aladdin lamps. Aladdin lamps are glass lamps. They have alicite, which is this pink glass. Now, Aladdin had the old formula and the new formula. The old formula was pre-war, and they would use uranium in the glass, I do believe. I haven't, like, I'm gonna regret saying it. They used to have uranium in the glass before the war, and it would cause the glass to glow. You know what? I don't believe these are pre-war. Give me 1 sec. Give me 1 sec. No, they're not. They're not glowing. Okay. Well, I thought it would be fun to check. So, anyway. So, Aladdin lamps, the pre-war lamps, ooh, I almost spilled my coffee, would glow under black light. Very cool, right? So, post-war, which these are, which I should have known they were. Post-war, they don't glow under black light. The pre-war stuff tends to be a little bit more valuable than the post-war. But, here's the thing. When I bought these lamps, I bought them for their finials. I know that sounds ridiculous, but the finials on these Aladdin lamps are alicite finials. They're worth more than the lamps a lot of the times. So I think I paid $30 for the pair, and each of the finials were worth $25. So I sold off the finials, and now I'm stuck with these lamps. So the lamps I think are worth like 20 bucks a piece, and they're such a pain in the butt to ship. So now they just sit around, and I gotta like figure out, what am I gonna do with these things? I gotta get rid of them. So, Lily of the Valley Aladdin lamps. I mean, I think Aladdin stuff can be good, but these lamps, they just sit around and they drive me absolutely up a wall. Boudoir lamps, little boudoir lamps. I mean, some of them, depending on the lamps, you always want to get them in pairs. I know that sounds silly. I mean, you don't always want to get them in pairs, but they're better in pairs. You're better off selling the little boudoir lamps in pairs. So I have a pair of these little boudoir lamps, and I just bought these the other day. I paid $18 for them. I'm going to sell them between $35 and $40. I really wish I had shade for them. That's the other thing that I wanted to talk about. Having the original shades is very important, okay? I could buy a pair of little ceramic lamps for 25 bucks. I put an era correct shade on them. For example, I want to say last year sometime I bought this little pair of blue ceramic lamps. I paid $25 for them. I put blue ceramic shades on them that I bought for $40 off of eBay, and I sold them for $175. Shades are very, very important, especially when they're true to the era of the lamp. I mean, so when you're selling, the thing about a lamp is if you have its partner, that increases the value. If you have the original shade, that increases the value even more. So, things to keep in mind when you're looking at lamps, okay? So another thing is rewiring the lamps. If you don't know how to rewire the lamp, make sure you put in the listing that it has not been rewired, okay? Because people are going to want to know that. People buy the lamp expecting it to have been ready to plug in. So you want to make sure that they know in the listing that it has not been rewired. That's important. Rewiring is really easy though. Sue and I will be putting out a video about rewiring tomorrow. So watch for that. I think that's really what I'm looking at when I'm going to look at lamps. I mean, for you guys, I think my best advice is to look for the mid-century modern lamps. That is what is selling right now. That is what is hot. And that is an easy thing to look for, is mid-century modern. The simple lines, the ceramic stuff. I mean, next time I go to my thrift store, they're all going to be gone because you guys are all going to be there like with them in your carts. You could be like, hey, crazy lamp lady. And I'm going to be like, oh, look at those lamps in your cart, you know? But hopefully this is helpful for you guys. Anyway, make sure you go check out my shopping videos that I've been posting here and over on my Relic Recoverist channel. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it is helpful for you when you're going and looking at lamps. If you're trying to get into lamps, I don't know. But anyway, I will catch you guys next time. All right, later.